Welcome to the Flat Earth server, Tan May. Would you like to speak?
Hey man, how's it going?
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing very good as well. Hi, bro.
Good to hear. Do you think you live on a spinning ball?
I'm open. I'm open to listening to your guys' thoughts.
Well, that's fine. I mean, currently, right now, do you have that belief that you live on a globe?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, we all did. It's not a big deal. We're not here to be
All right.
conscious. We're not here to be judgmental and adversarial. We're just trying to share information with people. So, do you have any questions? There's plenty of guys here that can answer questions. If we can't answer them, we'll tell you we don't know. So, go ahead.
Appreciate it, man. So yeah, what makes you think that we're in a flat plane?
Well, if you're asking me personally, the main thing that keeps me off of the globe is the
Mm-hmm.
behavior and natural physics of bodies of water. Like a body of water does not maintain or display convexity on its surface. I mean, that's a true statement. And to have a globe, you have to have a body of water do that. And bodies of water don't do that. Do you understand what I'm saying?
All right. I hear what you were saying.
So, for example, the Pacific Ocean, it's generally level. That's how we get mean sea level. I mean, there's waves and stuff, but it's not sitting there in a ball in the middle of a space vacuum, as far as I can tell. But go ahead.
All right. I hear you. Anybody else?
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's countless amounts of long distance laser tests, long distance observations that are literally impossible on a globe. Okay, and there's also zero tests out of the probably in the thousands of tests that have been done that show that there's any curvature over the surface of water or over the surface of the Earth over large distances where there would have to be a calculatable amount of curvature. And yeah, anyone can go and test this for themselves as well. So yeah, that would be one very, very solid reason. And just quickly as well, flat earthers aren't claiming to know the shape of the Earth. Flat's not a shape, and we're definitely not claiming a flat disk planet or anything like that. Just wanted to throw that in there.
Interesting. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
just
get
to
what you're
follow
saying.
up, DJ, it's important if you're under the impression you can't take the globe cosmology and just stick a flat planet in there. That's not what we're talking about. Go ahead, DJ. Sorry.
Exactly, Dave. Yeah, like that's what a lot of people, like even outside, sometimes forgets to sort of clear up that common misconception. And sometimes the conversation will be going on for like an hour, and people will be wondering, oh, how come this person's not taking what I'm saying seriously? Because in the globe earther's head, they're thinking, oh, this person thinks that there's like a flat planet floating around in space. That's ridiculous, right? But that's absolutely not the claim.
Yeah, I get you. Very interesting. Very interesting. Would you mind if I ask a question about the lasers, the laser experiment?
Yeah, please.
I've heard about an experiment that some scientists or some people tried to prove that the Earth was flat, and they ended up proving that it was a globe. Do you know something about that?
Yeah. There's a like a stoner named Jaren who got tricked to go on like a hit piece show called Behind the Curve on Netflix, and that was supposed to do a laser test, and Jaren actually left the laser on and melted the laser, broke it, right? So because they had everything set up and everyone was there, they decided that they were still going to try to do some type of test. So they used a flashlight instead, which is kind of ridiculous tool to use for such a test. And and then the way that they edited the show, it made it look like it validated a globe. If you actually have a decent look into it, it's literally 50 seconds of footage They're using a flashlight, not a laser, and they really don't even show the setup. The guy that's doing the test, right, the flat earther Jaren, he's a total moron. Okay, we're not claiming all flat earthers are geniuses or anything like that. This guy, Jaren, he got tricked basically, and even people that try to debunk flat Earth for a living, right? Like Craig from Fight the Flat Earth, even he looked into it and he said it's just edited in a way to make it seem like he's debunking the flat Earth, but it's just kind of ridiculous. We're talking about professionally done laser tests where we're using high end equipment. Some of these are done by teams of field engineers going out with extremely expensive laser beams and weather stations and accounting for all the variables and shooting them over huge distances like 40 kilometers and documenting the whole process in the form of technical PDFs as well as video to go along with it. So yeah, there's a ton that have been done now. The Netflix thing's just a bit of a mockumentary hit piece against flat Earth.
I get you.
Well
I get
said,
you.
DJ.
Yeah.
If I could add real quick that it's kind of sad that we have literally thousands of well done documented laser tests that prove no Earth's curvature, but millions of people have seen that Netflix documentary, and that's their first question. But anyway, go ahead.
Even in the test, they got all the math wrong, right? The people that made the documentary, they didn't get the math right. The whole thing was just ridiculous. Apparently, they even stitched the footage together in of Jaren saying things that he had actually said 4 hours earlier, completely unrelated to that test. Like when he says "interesting" at the end. Apparently, he didn't even say it then. He said it 4 hours earlier, and they just stitched that footage together. But yeah, anyway, it's not really a test that anyone that looks into it is going to take seriously. Personally, I like the long distance
They messed up the
observations.
golden opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. I like the long distance observations where we get a really, really clear day and someone will set up a camera at a certain height and then zoom across a large body of water with a landmark at a known distance. And then we can calculate how much should be hidden behind the curvature of the Earth and how far away the horizon should be. And then, run the observation and see what we can see and see if it matches up with the globe. And you'll find that it never does. And we can see thousands of % further than you should be able to see if the Earth were a globe, and there's no sign of any curvature. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff to look into if you're interested.
Yeah, I get you. And now, why would you say most of the people in the world believe that they're living in a globe?
Purely because that's something that they were taught from a young age. Most people don't really know anything. They don't know any of the basics about the globe. They've never questioned it. They've never really been presented with an alternative worldview, or not one that they would take seriously, because most people are presented with propaganda surrounding flat Earth. Okay, so it's aimed to turn people away, and that they're not going to take it seriously, right? Like claiming that we think the Earth's a big flat disk with water falling off the edges, floating in space, that kind of thing. But yeah, most people have never questioned the globe. Most people have been sort of conditioned to just regurgitate what they learn in the textbooks at school and not to really question the mainstream under fear of being ridiculed and that kind of thing.
I agree with you on that. Yeah, totally agree. Nobody really questions anything. But I'm open to it. And why would you think they're pushing it so much that the Earth is a globe and not a flat Earth?
Well, it's something that's been getting pushed for a long time, so it's part of the curriculum. Pushing outer space travel, I mean, it's all connected, isn't it? So, I mean, when you say they pushing it, do you mean like in movies, or do you mean like in the education system, or what?
Yeah, I mean the biggest space agencies like NASA.
Well, NASA, gets $80 million a day. Wherever that money's really going, we're not sure. But NASA's not really doing much. I mean, they've cut their funding. They've reclassified NASA's position as an intelligence agency, like a spy agency. Even if you go to nasa.gov right now, it says this website's not being updated anymore due to funding cuts. So I don't know. It's maybe for self-preservation. I'm not sure, because if it would be in the government's interest to keep pushing for the globe, right? Because they can't admit that they were lying, can they? They lied about the moon landing. If they lied about the moon landing, then it would be in their interest for self-preservation. People already don't trust the government. So imagine if they came out tomorrow and said, "Oh, actually, guys, we've been lying about outer space travel and about the globe," and I think they would crumble instantly, because you could ask just about anyone, "Do you trust the government?" They're going to say no. "Do you think the government lies?" They're going to say yes. So for self-preservation, maybe for money, for power, for control, to push their narrative of placing themselves as the people to look up to, rather than maybe religions and things like that, right? They're teaching in schools, along with the globe goes evolution and the Big Bang Theory, which is essentially that we're here by accident, just by chance. We're tiny specks on a universal scale. We could get killed at any second, like the dinosaurs did, by a big rock that's going to come from space. And we'll tell you everything about space and everything about this universe, and look up to us. And if you go against it, you get mocked and ridiculed. So I don't know. We can only speculate about those kinds of things, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get you, man. I get you. Very interesting, I must say. Very interesting conversation so far. And now, if you mind, I can ask a couple of follow-up questions.
Yeah. Any questions, man?
Hey, awesome. So we are debating that the Earth is a flat plane, right? Not the shape, but just it's not a globe. And if we look to the other celestial objects like the moon, which is the closest one, and the other planets in the solar system, they all appear to be round or spherical, right? So why would you think that the Earth would be an exception?
Well, I would say that when you're saying other planets, you would be pre-assuming that the Earth is also a planet floating around inside of the space vacuum. Okay, so it's a fair question. It's a fair way to think about it, because we've been conditioned growing up to think that there's this big giant vacuum of outer space, and then there's all of these objects floating around in it, and we're one of them. That's once again trying to insert flat Earth inside the globe model, inside the theoretical concept of outer space, the big space vacuum. And we've been told stories about specifics regarding what we're seeing in the sky. We'll see a little blurry light through a telescope, and we'll say, "Oh, this is X distance away. It's in the space vacuum, and it's this certain size, and it's this. This is what it's made out of, and that kind of thing." So I would say that there's no evidence that the Earth has any characteristics in common with anything in the sky. In fact, comparing, say, the moon or the sun or anything to Earth, it's just a false comparison. It's like if I go out in nature and I see trees everywhere, okay, that obviously I'm not a tree, or something else isn't a tree just because I can see trees off in the distance. It's even sounds silly just to give an analogy like that, but it's the same kind of thing. Okay, so if we can go and empirically test the surface of the Earth and there's no curvature, it doesn't work with a globe. Okay, if you have like a 20-mile body of water and there's zero curvature, that's not possible on a globe.
Okay, I get you. So you're not even considering that the Earth is a planet among the others, right?
Well, planet, I mean, if you look at the original, like what planet really means, the ancients would call planets wandering stars. And
Sorry, your audio's getting a bit cut off. Could you please check that? Or if it's just my internet?
Is my audio, can anyone else check if my audio is good? Is it cutting out?
Dude, you're perfect.
Yeah, maybe it was just on your end.
Yeah, let me fix that. Okay, should be good. Yeah, please continue.
Yeah, I mean, if someone wanted to claim that the heliocentric model is true and that Earth is a planet that's a globe shape, then that would be on them. We're not making that claim. So yeah, like we're more empiricists going and actually checking things in the real world rather than wild speculations about planets and space vacuums and things like that.
Does all 17 members believe in flat Earth?
Not everyone. We have a mixture of people here that think it's a globe or think it's flat. So,
Oh,
what about yourself?
I believe in round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we all used to believe in the globe Earth as well, but after
Oh.
years of research and testing, I've come to the conclusion that it cannot possibly be a globe
Why?
because there's no empirical evidence to suggest that it's a globe. It's just a belief or a mathematical concept that people have been taught
What about
since
the
they were
ships that
children.
go on the ocean? The farther they go, that we can only see the top of the ocean, the ships, right?
Well, I grew up next to the ocean my whole life on the east coast of Australia at a hub where cruise ships leave to go out into the ocean, and I've never seen that happen unless we have big ocean swells. So I don't know where people hear that argument and then they just repeat it, but I don't think people really see boats disappearing over the horizon very often unless there's ocean swells, which are waves out in the ocean, or there's a miraging effect named sinking or an inferior mirage that can cause that to happen sometimes. But I can show you footage now where that absolutely doesn't happen.
So do you think NASA was lying to us?
Yeah, NASA faked the moon missions pretty obviously. But at the end of the day, we don't even have to claim that because
So
we
how
can
do you
actually
explain this
measure.
universe then? About
What's
the
that?
gravity and how do you explain the universe? The Earth was flat. About the
Yeah,
gravity and
the
everything.
universe is a mathematical concept as we've been taught. Okay, so you've been taught a big story about the things that you can see in the sky. Okay, and most of it's pseudoscience by definition. Okay, most of it exists as theoretical claims, not actual empirical evidence that's been tested. So we've all been taught the same story about the universe, the Big Bang Theory, the distance to the sun, the distance to Mars, how big they are, the space vacuum, all of this. You know, we're all well aware of the story that's related to what we can see in the sky, but it doesn't match up with the Earth. Okay, the Earth is measurably not a globe. Okay, so the heliocentric model is false. And it wasn't something that was proven, it's something that's theorized into existence.
If NASA was lying, as there are some videos in YouTube where some people went to space for some people sent the bread to space. They captured with GoPro that Earth was round. You haven't seen those videos?
Yeah, but they're using wide angle lenses, okay, and they're not going up very high. It just looks high because they're using a GoPro. If you have a close look at the footage, you'll notice that sometimes the Earth looks like it's curving, and then sometimes the Earth looks like it's curving the wrong way. Okay, as the camera pans around, you'll notice the horizon line will be warping and distorting. So if the horizon's above the center of the frame, it's going to look like it's curving, like a globe. And if the horizon goes below the center of the frame, it looks like it starts to curve the other direction. So it's inconclusive evidence.
The Earth was circle, but it was flat, as your theories.
No, we don't claim it's a circle. We don't claim it's a flat planet. It's what you're thinking about is trying to change the globe to a flat planet, and that's not what we're claiming. This is a completely different system, a different worldview, a different way of thinking about the entire system. Try not to think about the globe Earth version of outer space and then try to insert the flat Earth inside of that. It doesn't work. That's not what we're claiming. We're not even claiming to know the shape of the Earth. Okay, flat is not a shape. We're talking about the surface area that we can test, not measuring any curvature. Okay, so if you have a surface that's not curving, It's by default flat. And that's what we mean in that context of flat Earth. If you have a look in the side chat, FLW has posted some examples of what the GoPro lens and any wide-angle lens will do to a horizon.
Oh,
And then Stark has posted a nice zoom footage of a ship. Okay, so when he's zoomed out, you can't see the ship. But then as he zooms in, all of a sudden the ship wasn't gone. There was no ship gone over the curvature. You just couldn't see the ship because the ship was too far away for your eyes to be able to resolve. When he zooms in, you can see the entire ship again.
then why moon is globe? I mean circle. Why moon is round?
Well, because the moon's the moon. I mean, that's like asking like, why is a tree a certain shape and then something else is not that shape? The moon is round. It looks round, but the moon and the earth aren't similar. But I understand your question because we get taught from a young age that the earth is also an object in space. Okay, and then you see all of these other round objects, and then you think, why is the earth different than these other objects? Okay, the earth is more like the floor or the foundation of the system that we live in, and it doesn't have any resemblance to the things in the sky.
If the earth was flat, why if in India it was daytime, but why in America it was nighttime? It should be round, right?
Well, once again, if it's the globe model, okay, we have the sun is giant and the sun's 93 million miles away. That's not what we're claiming. If the sun was closer, okay, and the sun moves over the surface of the earth, just like we experience, okay, we see the sun moving across the sky, and it will take a particular circuit over the surface of the earth, and it will light up different areas of the earth. So when it's daytime in Australia, for me, it's nighttime in Europe for my friend, So, and then when it's daytime for my friend, it's nighttime for me because the sun is smaller and the sun is having to push its light through all of the atmosphere. Okay, and the atmosphere will absorb the light as the light pushes through the atmosphere. And also the intensity of the light as it moves away from the source will diminish exponentially as it moves away from the source, right? It gets less bright as it moves away from the source of the light. So, if we have a closer sun, okay, and it's just moving over the surface of the earth above us, then it's going to light up different sections of the flat plane that we live on. So it's once again, try not to insert the flat Earth inside the globe Earth model of outer space, because yes, if you did that, then it wouldn't work. It would be daytime all the time.
What Bible say about flat Earth?
Well, the Bible, I'm not religious personally, but the Bible depicts a flat Earth and a flat Earth with a firmament. And then you have the sun and the moon and the stars within the firmament. The sun and the moon are much smaller than the Earth, and they move in cycles above us. So it's very, very same thing, right? All of the ancient cultures mostly depicted a flat Earth, and religions. All of the ancient cultures had a very similar depiction of this system that we live in. If you want to have a look in the side chat, I'll show you a chart that has the different cultures around the world's ancient depictions of the Earth. So they all depicted as a flat plane within a contained system. And the Bible depicts a similar thing. So as you can see, the Hebrew depiction there on the right-hand side.